Hello, this is West Coast Dennis talking to you, and it's time to get real here. So, on that note, let's just take this as one step at a time. I'm going to explain what I know, and I'm going to give you my opinion on what we should be doing. First of all, there's mankind, us. Okay, that's one whole thing. Second of all, there's nature, the natural world as we find it, and what we do with it. But what we're talking about here is two things. We're talking mankind, us on one side, nature on the other side. It's two things. What we have to do here is understand how these two things, mankind and our planet, are going to coexist and have a positive relationship. Yeah, mankind having a positive relationship with the planet. First of all, I've been here on the island most of my life. As a kid, I lived in Jordan River with our family, and I saw a lot of really nice salmon fishing down there. This is gonna hurt. Steelhead trout, 3 feet long, coming out of Jordan River. The last one I saw was that big. In fact, I only heard of them until that time. And when I was a kid, one of the workers at the Emil Anderson camp that was putting in the powerhouse was down there fishing, and he had 2 rods, and he was on one of them and he had the other one way over here, and the rod started bouncing. So I grabbed the rod, set the hook, figured it was a fish, didn't know what it was, figured, oh yeah, it's probably a sea run trout or something, could be a jack spring, whatever. I started reeling it in. It's pretty big. So the guy on the shore down there with his other rod comes running up. I says, here's your rod, I got it for you. He brings it in. It's a 3-foot long steelhead trout, salmon, whatever you want to call it. It's a rainbow trout that goes to the water, or goes out to the sea, and then comes back and spawns. These steelhead trout were coming from upriver, way upriver, where they couldn't even go back up, but they would always come back up to the big hole, the big pool down beneath the mill. And then most of them couldn't get past that point. Maybe 1 or 2 might have, but there was this tricky little part with a big rock, and water was always rushing through it really fast and stuff. So that's all I can say is that yeah, the steelhead couldn't have gone farther than the pool beneath the mill. I mean, than the pool beneath the mine. So anyway, the rainbow trout that were always prevalent in Jordan River, I don't know if there's still any left, but it's very difficult to get up in there. I've done it once or twice, I think, yeah, several years ago, when I basically walked up the other side of the river, the Souk side of Jordan River. Not the Port Renfrew side, because the Port Renfrew side of the river is where the powerhouse was, and then there was all this gates and everything you couldn't get past. So I went up the other way, went up the river a little bit, and saw that all there was a trickle of water coming down Jordan River. So I called, I guess it was resources or land management, water management. I called water management or whatever they were, and told them about my story about all the fish in Jordan River, and how because they've cut it off and they're not letting enough water out in the summer, it's drying up and the fish aren't in there anymore. So who said it was okay to do that anyway, to begin with? Who said it was okay to close off Jordan River to wildlife? Because basically that's what's happening. No fish, no bear, no raccoon, no weasel, no marten, no certain birds that eat the salmon. See, the salmon aren't only food for people. The salmon are food for all of the wildlife that eat it. And there's lots. There's birds that eat it, not just seagulls. There's these other birds. You'll see them on my Souk salmon run video this year. They look like kind of like a mallard, but they're white with a kind of a head and a neck that's colored like a mallard. Not colored like a mallard even, but it reminds me of a mallard. But these white ducks are eating the eggs. It's their right to have them. Birds and animals don't need rights, okay? We don't do things like the animals do. The animals don't have laws. They just have ways of going about things. And those ways are natural ways. There's no argument, there's no fight, maybe a little bit of a competition, but that's about it. They don't fight like man does. Man seems to be so childish in his behavior that he can't seem to get past the point of accepting that himself could be still in need of a whole lot of education. We're talking grown people figuring they know it all. Okay? So I'm going to stop right there and we'll continue in a bit. And since we have the power to be the ultimate apex predator, we have to watch out what we're taking. Because we can take from anything. We can destroy anything. Or we can create just about anything. I think the only thing we can't create are things that you can't think of. Because it seems somehow to me that technology has managed to ride side by side with our hopes and dreams and inventions and creations over the last couple hundred years anyway.